Trump.
All right. Good job.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can't make it.
Go Donald Trump. Yay, Donald.
We're going to get what we need. We're going to get Donald Trump elected to the President of the United States. All of these people in this room right here is evidence of it. And that camera. That veteran right there loves Donald Trump.
Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Sparks, Nevada, Donald Trump. So you were a bit quiet last night. Was that a strategy?
I don't think it was really a strategy, Bill. I wanted to do a good job. I won in every poll as far as the debates are concerned. I think you have them in front of you. I don't think you're going to read it because you never do.
Well, it's internet polls. We don't do internet polls here, so don't give me any grief on it. We never do internet polls. Go ahead.
That's all right. That's okay. I think I did well. I was very happy with the result. And yeah, I thought they were nasty, but I was okay with it. I'm used to it.
But when you say nasty, let's expound upon that, because that's really what's going on today in this country. Do you believe that before the debate started, the CNBC crew sits in a room and says, let's get these guys?
I probably do think that, Bill, but I really don't care. I mean, whatever it is, it is. You go up there, you do your job. They came at me a little bit strong. They came at a couple of others a little bit stronger than they should have. In some cases, much stronger than they should have. But I was fine with it. I actually liked my answers when they came at me. I thought certain of us did very well last night. It was good for us.
Okay. I want to play you a soundbite that that I thought was a very interesting part of the debate right now. Roll the tape.
The leading Republican candidate, when you look at the average of national polls right now, is Donald Trump. When you look at him, do you see someone with the moral authority to unite the country?
You know, there's few questions I've got. The last one I need is to give him some more time. I love Donald Trump. He is a good man. I'm wearing a Trump tie tonight. Get over that one.
Such a nasty question, but thank you, Governor.
You're welcome.
Well, it was Governor Huckabee you were thanking, and we had that they cut away to the wrong governor. Now, it was a nasty question. I don't know what that means, moral authority. I don't know what that means at all. It wasn't clarified. What do you think he was trying to do there?
First of all, I want to thank the governor. That was very nice of him. He could have just sort of avoided that and talked about himself. He chose to defend me, which he didn't have to do. And he's really a quality person, Governor Huckabee. So I wanted to thank him. And I don't know, he didn't have to bring that up. He goes to another person. He talks about moral authority. My moral authority is better than his moral authority, that I can tell you. So I thought it was unnecessary. I thought it was, by the way, we have thousands of people in this room, and it's great. They're big fans. We love them. But I thought it was an unnecessary question, unusual question, the way he phrased it. And yes, they were very, very nasty to a lot of people last night. And I think that they've suffered. I mean, I've been reading such terrible reviews about the commentators last night for CNBC.
All right, now, when you were up there last night, as you yourself said, you were a little bit more mellow than usual or than you have been. Is this a new strategy that you're going to be more temperate in your presentations during the debates and perhaps on the trail? Is it a new strategy?
I don't think it's really new. Perhaps I'm going to tone it down a little bit because of the way we've done so well. You know, it's sort of interesting. I wish the country could do this. I've spent less money than anybody else, and I'm #1 in the polls. So, I mean, that's pretty good. That's what the country should do. But it's been great, and nobody gets the crowds like we get. I mean, look at this room as an example.
Okay, but you're a celebrity. You're a celebrity. Yeah, and your celebrity status helps you, A, get attention from guys like me, and B, draw crowds in Nevada. But what Kasich was trying to get at, and I'm not sure he was successful, you marginalized him.
He was very unsuccessful.
Yeah, you
Let me tell you, Bill, I'll
marginalized
tell you.
him.
He was very unsuccessful, and every commentator, even the haters and losers that I read all the time, they said that he was put down so strongly that for the rest of the debate, he was just sort of limping along. He hit me at the beginning of the debate. I hit him much harder than he ever thought possible, including the fact that he worked for Lehman Brothers, which took down the world. I mean, this guy was working for Lehman Brothers when it collapsed, and frankly, I think he took a very, very hard hit.
Okay.
And he was not the same.
Step back
whether
from
you like it or not, that's the way it is.
Step back from the personal and look at the argument. The argument that not only he makes, but others make, is that you and Carson are not politicians. You don't know really what the system is in Washington and how you have to horse trade and all of this. And, you know, Americans in the end are going to try to go with the establishment person who might know a little bit more about how things are done there. That's the argument Kasich is making. I did it in Ohio. Trump's a businessman. He's not a politician. How do you counter that? How do you counter that argument?
It's so easy. It's so easy. I'll counter it very simply. I built a great company. I've dealt with nothing but politicians over my life. I've been so involved in politics, and frankly, they're all talk, no action. Nobody knows politicians better than me. They're really easy to deal with, that's for sure. So I built this tremendous net worth, this great, great company with some of the greatest real estate assets in the world, of which you know some of them. And this is all over the world. I deal with many different countries. I'm in many different countries. And I've had tremendous success. I have thousands and thousands of employees and tens of thousands of employees over my lifetime. I have more experience than any politician, practically, that's ever run for office. That I can tell you.
And that's good, because then the voter can make up their own mind. You put forth yours with vigor. Kasich and others put forth theirs. Now, the criticism...
Hey, Bill, let me just finish it. We have been run by politicians. They're grossly incompetent. They're destroying our country. It's time for a real change.
And you're running on that populist point of view. Last question for you. When you answer questions in a general way, which you have a tendency to do, you would say that would be accurate, right? You're more general than specific.
I don't think it's accurate. No, I have a very good tax plan out there. I put in many policy statements, including on Second Amendment, of which I'm very strong in favor of the Second Amendment.
Do you have a gun now, by the way? Are you carrying it now?
I have a license. No, not
You're not carrying
now. I
now.
have a license to carry. I have a license to carry. I'm not carrying now.
Okay.
No, I don't think I answer in a general way. Sometimes maybe.
Yeah,
but I
the
don't think I
ISIS
do.
thing, you answer them
I
in a
went
little
to an
general
Ivy
way.
League. Hey, Bill. I went to an Ivy League school. I was a very good student. There's no problem with me going into details, believe me. I answer the way I want to answer. And there does have to be, when we answer questions, as an example, about the military and ISIS, and if I win, I want to be unpredictable. I don't want ISIS and all of these people that we're going against to know exactly what we're doing. That I can tell you, Bill.
Okay, get back to your rally, and as always, we appreciate you coming on, taking the flak and the fire, and it's always good to talk to you, Donald. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's pray. Okay. Sovereign and Almighty God, we approach and beseech you this day in prayer, for you are gracious and just, righteous and merciful, true and kind, strong and approachable. The Holy Bible, the Scriptures, your written word calls each of us not only to hear, but to do those things that you have spoken. The Gospel of Matthew in chapter 7, verses 24 through 29 likens this action unto a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rains descended, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall. For its foundation was the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine, says the Lord, and does not do them, will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rains descended, the floods came, the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell. And great was its fall. O Lord God, we find ourselves in turbulent and uncertain times, in what appears to be the age-old storm of redirection through the winds of redefinition. We humbly ask you, Lord, by your divine guidance, by your hand of gracious wisdom, your superior hand of wisdom, that you would lead us once again by your holy word. The platform of the founding forefathers of this great nation of the United States of America was built on that sure foundation of you, the rock of our salvation, which was the infallible word of Scripture. We pray this morning, we pray this day, that our nation would not only return, but continue on the path on which it was founded, the path which has always pointed towards you. Platforms of any kind, be them structures, buildings, monuments, or even political platforms, are only as good and secure as that platform and that structure, the foundation. Each of these individual states of this great nation gears up and focuses upon an upcoming election. May each one of those so-called platforms be built on the solid foundation of you. This great nation, our country, our home, that it would be governed by those principles, those godly morals, and that they would define our laws, they would define our justice system, they would define and guide our ways, guiding our education, thus causing us to have true liberty. True liberty that has been the very mainstay and the very structure of the faith in you that is the root of our heritage. And may that root of our heritage produce godly fruit yet once again. That America would be godly. That America would be good again, resulting in making America great again. Precious Heavenly Father, we ask this of you in and through the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Savior. Amen. Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
welcome to the stage the next United States President.
It's like this, there's going to be change, but real change, not Obama change. You remember the famous Obama change? So, who saw the debate last night? And, great book. And who won the debate? And we did well, everybody. I mean, I think there were a few people that really did well last night. And we were given good credit. It's hard to get credit from the press. You know, when you get credit from the press, you know you really did well. Boy, do they not want to do it. I think more importantly, we won every online poll. We won Drudge, Time Magazine, every week, every time we had it. So we won CNBC. You know, they did a poll during the show. And it kept saying Trump 50, 51, 59, 52, the other one's 6, 5, 9. And I love it. I just saw that this morning. I'm watching and saying, what is that? That's the poll as you go on along. And it kept going higher and higher. I said, we should have gone longer and longer. But we've really had an amazing period of time because, and I have to tell you, that, and we're going to do some questions and answers left because I have all day. I mean, I will just. So we'll do that. Think of some good questions.
I got one for you.
Vicious, violent, crazy questions.
Good one.
That was Bill O'Reilly. We did O'Reilly run tonight, so that'll go on in a little while. But so you go home, you watch O'Reilly, you'll OD on Trump today. That's enough, right? That's too much Trump. That's why, you know what I said, it's true. I'm going to spend whatever it takes, you know. I have more money than anybody else, right? No, I hear one guy has $10 million in the bank, one guy has $4. You know how much they spend to get $10 million in the bank? I heard the other day. No, they'll spend like 8, yeah. That's right, who said 8? Somebody, you know what I'm talking about, right? No, they'll spend like 79 cents on the dollar. I say, what do you mean? But the report is that they have like all this money, but they spend so much money to get the money, so they'll end up in some cases with 20 cents left. This is going to run our country. Tell me. You know, I take small contributions to people where they give, like, I always say the woman I read, this lengthy letter, she gave $7.50. But, they take $50 and $100, $200. And frankly, I love that only in the sense that I feel invested in what we're all doing. But there's no PACs where people set up PACs in my name. They used the name of the book for one of the PACs. I don't know who the people are. And we sent legal notices to every PAC. I think I had 9 or 11. They were all over the place. Everybody's forming a PAC. Some of them probably had good intentions. They're going to fight for Trump. And I like that, but, you just don't know. And some of them had good intentions. You know what it was? Their wallet. That's what the good intentions. No, you can imagine. So we wrote a very strong legal letter, and I felt badly because, honestly, let's say of the 9 or 11 or whatever there were probably some in there that were really going to go to town. And you're telling them, we don't want your help. Please give your money back. They don't even have to do that. I don't know what they do. They'll probably use it for another candidate. They'll make a deal. But it's really bad. These super PACs are really, really bad. And they're really controlling the system right now. And, you're supposed to not have involvement in them. And you see what's going on with them. And you see all of the money that's being spent and the millions. Like Jeff has $100 and some odd million. Now, I don't know if that's after all of this expense. Who knows?
But Jeb has a lot of money in there, and Rubio has a lot of money, and Ben Carson has a lot of money in the super PACs. And, you know, and I say they're no good. They're really going to hurt our political system, and something has to be done. And actually last night I called it, but people found other things more exciting, like the fight last night where I hit Kasich. They'd rather have that. And remember what I said about Jeb, and remember what I said about Rubio. Okay, everyone said, oh no, you're wrong, Mr. Trump. I get no credit for this stuff. I said they don't like each other. You know, I said it, and, you know, people forget. So, 2 months ago, I make this speech. Everyone said, oh, Mr. Trump, you're right. They really like it. So, Jeb is the governor, and the other guy's the young guy. And in all fairness, Jeb was the mentor. And I'm not knocking either one. I mean, when I say this, but I said, they don't like each other. And everyone said, you're wrong. And they all said that Rubio would never, ever run, because it would be disrespectful to the guy that was his mentor. And I understand that. You know, there's a loyalty thing. We know what loyalty is, right? But there is a loyalty thing. And so everyone said they weren't going to, you know, run and this and that. Well, all of a sudden, Rubio announced maybe he will, maybe he won't, but he announced he will. And people thought, and Jeb said, they interviewed Jeb, he said, no, I'm not upset. He said, dear, dear friend. I said, oh, you can imagine what he told his father. Or his brother. Dear, dear friend. It doesn't work that way, folks. But that's political speak. And then Rubio said the same thing. But last night, the heat came out. And I even said, I don't know if Kirby, I told you, I announced that, I told you, a lot of anger there, a lot of hatred between those two. But I love to pick it because it's life. You know, it's like the way the system works, it's just life. But what I wanted to mention before we do a little bit, I'm going to go a little bit, and then I'm really wanting to go with the question and answer because I love it. I meet so many people, it's true. And I get so many great ideas from there. And I love it. Ask me anything. What the hell that is. There are a lot of guys, they're all camp, they have lobbyists. And they have, the lobbyists control them, usually through the super PACs. And they have donors, and they have special, and they're totally controlled. Not all of them, maybe 99%, okay? But they're totally controlled. But they have people that totally, you know, the pollsters, right? And these pollsters are tough people, they're smart. They make hundreds of thousands, some make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And they do polls all the time. I said, what do you need polls for when every week these guys, look at all those cameras in the back, they do polls like every week, they spend millions on polls. I said, why would you spend money on polls when you can get them for free from CNN, from Fox, from MSNBC? They're coming, no, it's true. I mean, I learned things about me. I haven't spent 10 cents on a pollster, and I've learned things about me that I never knew. So, and we're doing great. Like the evangelicals, we're doing really great nationwide. We're doing great. In Nevada, I won with Hispanic. With Hispanics. And I said that. You know, it's funny. Immigration is an amazing thing. I'm #1 with Hispanics because I'm going to create jobs. People want that. We're going to have jobs. We're going to take them away from China, from Japan, from all over. And we're going to have a very, very special. Look, we're in, some people would say life support. We owe $19 trillion. 19 trillion. What do you do? 19 trillion. And, you know, they just did a budget the other day. They're going to borrow another couple of $1 billion. So it's going to go up to $20 trillion. And you just say, why? Why is this happening? And do you ever notice, they always get, and I'm now talking about the Republicans, they're incensed a week before they have the debt ceiling coming, all right? They're always incensed. They don't do anything for a year and a half, 2 years. And then a week before they start talking about it. No, we're not going to, you can't do it that quickly. You got to do it earlier. Like, the day it was done the last time, they should have started working on it. So all of a sudden you hear the debt ceiling's coming up next week. But by the way, you know, it's so sad because we could have so many great victories in Washington, and we just don't. And we just don't. So now we have a new man, Paul Ryan. I hope he's going to work out. He's a nice person, I can tell you. He's a nice person. And people agreed, and look, I think he's got tremendous potential. He's got to strengthen up on the illegal immigration, I'll be honest with you. He's been weak on that, very weak. But he's a good man, and he was consensus, and that's important, because the Republicans, I mean, it's not only they don't get along with the Democrats, but they got to get along with themselves also. They got to go uniform. And I've said, and Boehner, I always liked him personally, but I said, you got to be a little different with your negotiation. He said, well, 2 weeks ago, when they were talking about trying to get some things from Obama and the Democrats, he announced, we will not close up the government. Well, that's fine to announce, but you just gave up your entire negotiating position, right? Even if you're not going to do it, because it's a severe move. But even if you're not, you can't, he has the art of the deal. Give me that book. Give me that book. What a great book. One of the great books.
The great book. Denoli.
Way behind the Bible, but still a good book. The Bible's number one. Okay, I'm going to sign this for this time.
There you go.
It's an athlete. So,
Congratulations.
well, that's a good book too, Surviving at the Top. How about where I said that Osama bin Laden is coming to get us 3 years before it happened? Okay. So I was watching Morning Joe, good program, good guy, Joe Scarborough, and they said, yeah, Trump said this and that. We were talking about Trump and military, because there's nobody that will be tougher and stronger and better with the military than me. And somebody was on the show that they didn't even like me. They said, Trump wrote, there it is, right? Look at that book. There it is. But they said, Trump said they're going to come back. This is, remember, the first hit on the World Trade Center, where it was a bad hit, but obviously it wasn't the one that happened, the ultimate. And there was a lot of stuff about a guy named Osama bin Laden, who was a terrorist, who was really raising his hand pretty loudly all over the place, talking about how he's going to come. And I mentioned him in the book. I said, better put this guy away, essentially, because he's coming to get us. You better do something. And you better be smart, and you better be tough. And, who knew this was going to happen? But I remember Joe Scarborough, he looked, and they had read the paragraph, said, they're going to come, and they're going to do this, I said exactly what was going to happen. I'm good at this stuff. And I mentioned the name of Osama bin Laden. And I actually mentioned his name, because I saw his name. He was like, so Joe goes, whoa, when was this written? It was written a couple of years before the World Trade Center. And we can be tough, and we can be smart. Like Iraq, we spend $2 trillion, thousands of deaths, thousands of lives. And you could say on both sides, in all fairness, okay? Thousands and thousands. We lost 5,000 more. They don't even know. Thousands of lives. Wounded warriors who were the greatest. I love. Wounded warriors. All of them. So we have 2 trillion, the wounded warriors. We have thousands of lives lost. We have nothing. What do we have? Nothing. Iran is taking over Iraq. And we just gave them $150 billion to do it. Where do they make these deals? That's why, look, I may be a lot of things, but I really know how I'm a good deal guy. This is Carl Icahn just announced he's the work. Carl, great businessman, great business leader, very smart, made fortunes, billions and billions. And he just endorsed Donald Trump. Out of the and others too. And because he knows there's no games. We're not playing games. This guy, we have Kerry negotiating a deal, $150 billion we gave him. We don't get our prisoners back. Now they want to start a new negotiation. Listen to this. For the prisoners. Did you hear this? The deal is done. They got their money, or they're getting it very soon. Oh, I wish there was some legal way. I wish this election could take place tomorrow. I don't care what they agreed to, I guarantee that contract, somewhere along the line, as incompetent as they are, because I've inherited a lot of bad contracts over the years. Where I buy a company cheap because the poor guy didn't know what he was doing and he made a bad contract. So you buy it cheap, you throw it into a chapter, you beat up everybody, you cut it, you have a nice little lesson. I do it professionally. But there's always a clause. Like a lot of times you'll see this horrible, and you'll be reading, oh no, this is terrible. This is worse than I thought. You know, you take it. A friend of mine, he's a great guy, but not a great business guy. So he signs this horrible yes. I'm reading his contract. I love doing it. Can you believe this is my entertainment? Other people do other things, but I like doing it. I like reading contracts. I'm reading, and all of a sudden, bingo! I see this clause. I say, do you know you have to know? No. And I help him, and I made some deal for him. He'll never forget me. Of course, he probably will. People forget. They forget. But it was bingo. So as bad as these things are, and as bad as, let's say, that guy, there's always something. There's always something. And I'll find it. Oh, will I find it? Now, the other day, they said, hey, we'll start negotiating now for the prisoners. They're 4. They used to have 3, now they have 4. But they're only going to negotiate for 3. But they want 19 people that are here.
They're babies.
And what else? Many other things. In other words, they're starting off. Does it make you sick? It's just, every time I use this because how many things can you relate to that are so simple? One of the things that's very interesting, and one of the reasons I actually like taking questions and answers, because you have things that are bad in the country. But you have, let's say, 10, 12, 13. You make it in a speech, you can talk about all of them. Then if you make the same speech, they'll say, oh, gee, you're talking about this. Well, how many things are there? You're going to talk about all of them. We can talk about immigration, illegal immigration. We can talk about IRS. IRS is right. He says IRS and I say ISIS. Maybe it's the same thing. But no, I mean, you talk about ISIS, you talk about the problems, you talk about Obamacare, which is going to be repealed and replaced. Obamacare is turning out so badly that in 17 it looks like they're going to have to go back to Congress and rewrite the whole thing. It's a disaster. And you people know that the premiums are up 35, 45, 55%. The deductibles, you're not even getting anything because the deductibles are so high, you have to die. And who knows if it covers you if you're dead? I'm not sure. No, the deductibles are so high that I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So what happens is, I talk about this, Aranda, because as a person that has had tremendous success, and I had, don't forget, they said, he'll never run, right? I told this guy, I love this guy. He'll never run, the pundits. Oh, do they hate me? He'll never run. He'll never sign Certificate A. That's a 1-page where you basically sign your life away. I signed it. Then I made the announcement. Then they said, oh, he'll never sign his financials. Well, I put them in almost 100 pages long. I think the longest ever put in was like 2 pages. Mine are like 100. I think it's 500, almost 500 companies. Tremendous success. So they said, oh, maybe he's not as successful as people think. I'm much more successful. I tell the story. Honestly, I wasn't sure until the last moment, because it takes guts to run. It really does. It's not that easy. And it takes guts to run. And it does. It takes guts. And I didn't know. I went right to the end. And, the famous escalator scene with Melania coming down with me waving. And I said, I took a deep breath. I went like this. Okay, baby, let's go. And I announced. And I brought up the subject of illegal immigration. And boy, did I take incoming, as Russian would say. I took incoming. And then it turned out I was right. But I just gone back, so on the financials. I didn't know until the very last one. Because, again, not an easy decision to make. In terms of yourself, your family, your life, it's different. I mean, it's different. Here I am, you expose yourself like that on television, you're fully like, with all these guys, and some you respect, some you have no respect for. And you have to say, you do respect them. Some I don't. We're supposed to support them if they win, though, the pledge. But some I do have great respect for. Some of the people on the stage I do. But I did these financials, and they were phenomenal. And I tell you what, and so it showed I was much bigger, much stronger, much wealthier. I built not only great assets, very liquid, very little debt, tremendous cash flow. The reason I say it is because That's the kind of thinking we need in the country. It's thinking. I mean, it's a lot of the people in the audience, and maybe in a smaller way, you have that same thinking. You know, you can't believe the stuff that you see. Sergeant Bergdahl, 5 for 1. We get Bergdahl. They get 5 killers that they've wanted for 9 years. And they get 5 killers that are right now back on the battlefield, killing everybody, and believe me, they'd love to be here. They'd love to be right here. So we can't go on like this. And I said it to my wife, I said it to Ivanka, I said it to all my kids. I said, we got to do it. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Who knows? It's like I told Bill O'Reilly, Bill, I've been dealing with politicians all my life. All my deals go through politicians. I need zoning, I need this, I need that, I need taxes, I need tax abatements, I need all sorts of things. I get them. And I've always gotten them. I've done great with politicians. I deal with politicians, I deal with prime ministers from other countries, because I always go in for the glamour deals, the big deals. They always want to meet me. So I have dinner with the prime ministers. But I get along with people. I get along with Democrats. You know, one of the big knocks on me? Well, he got along with people that are Democrat. Well, that's what we have to do. We got to get along, folks. Washington is the gridlock. They can't do anything. And you know, when I was growing up, when I was younger, because I started young, and my father was good, I had a great father. In fact, I'm doing a book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be great. And it's a very nasty title. I won't even tell you, it's such a nasty title. And you know what? It's a nasty picture. The photographer, Simon & Schuster, big company, they came to me, we'd love to have a book. I said, I don't want to do a book. I've done, like, what, 12 or something? I said, I'm in the middle of a campaign. They said, we'll pay you a lot of money. I said, how much? I give it to charity anyway, so I'm going to give it to charity. But you know what? So you feel guilty, you know. So I work very hard, and I'm doing this, I'm doing books, I'm running things. The good thing is my children are very capable. They're running, they're good. They're not great executives. So what happens is, I want you to read this because we talk about our country and we talk about the problems. And it's called, actually, Crippled America. And the nastiest picture you've ever seen. So they had this, Simon & Schuster, they sent this great photographer, world-class photographer in my office. He took, and I told this, he took the most beautiful pictures you've ever seen. I never knew I was that handsome, to be honest. This guy was a master. He took the most beautiful pictures, smiling, happy, beautiful. And one he took when I wasn't ready, and it's the worst picture. It's mean and horrible. And the people came and said, Mr. Trump, sir, this is really the picture we should use. You can't be talking about what you're talking about with a big smiling face. And wait till you see this picture, you're not going to believe it. It's nasty. So, you know, I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's the hardest I've worked on a book since The Art of the Deal. It actually is. And it was condensed, but it's the hardest I've worked on a book. So let's see. I mean, but we talk about a lot of the problems that we have. But we're going to do something that's going to be so special. We're going to take this country, and if I win, and it is if, you know, everyone's always shouts, when? It's always going to be, you know, look, I mean, I'm competing against all these people, who the hell knows? You have a lot of crooked people in the press. For instance, I'll give you an example. Last week, I'll give you an example how crooked they are. Last night, Last night, we won every single poll. Who won the debate? Now, I think Cruz did well. I do. I think Rubio did well, although I think Rubio had a lot of hard questions because, frankly, those are tough questions. You know? They have good answers, but I don't like the questions, so they're a little tough. But does everybody understand that? Yeah, I think they understand that. They're tough. But I did think he did well in terms of answering. I think that a couple of others, I really appreciated Mike Huckabee for, you know, sticking up. He's a good man. I mean, he's a good man. He's a good person. He even showed my tie. You know, he was really good. He's a great guy. But no, it's nice, because somebody else could have said, what? You know, I'll be the best friend. He didn't say that. He said, don't you dare. Essentially, don't you dare say that about Donald Trump. There aren't, honestly, folks, there aren't a lot of people who would do that. He had a perfect opportunity just to talk about himself, and he didn't do that. So he's a special guy. He's a very good guy. So we're going to do something that's going to be so unique. But last night, all of the polls, every single one of them said I won. And yet the pundits, they weren't bad, but they could have been much better, believe me. They could have been, some were good. But every poll, even the CNBC poll, every poll said, and these are polls, somebody said, oh, they're online. Well, I'm not dialing in. Hundreds of thousands. Drudge is great, and Drudge is a legit person. He's a great person. And he's a straight shooter. They have the Drudge poll. They have, what the hell was that? sounded like a duck. Yeah. But no, they had Drudge, and they have Time Inc. I mean, Time Inc. is, even though I was on the cover 4 weeks ago, so maybe it's a compliment. But they had Time, they had many polls, and they had CNBC did their poll. All right, and you could see that they don't like me very much, okay? And we won every one of them. And the pundits some were really nice, and some were trying to be as bad as they could possibly be. As they also know the subject matter. They can't say you lost, but they say, well, Trump was a little off his game. Oh, it's so unfair. Especially when you get 60, 70%. When you get 70% in an online poll, and you have 15 people up there, right? You have 15 because you have the previous debate. But you have 15 people up there, and you get 70%, that's impossible. If you got 70% and you had 2 people, it's like, we'll take that all the time, right, folks? So that was, but I'll tell you one of the most disgusting things. You have a group called Politico. It's a small deal. So dishonest. They are the worst people. They're the most dishonest. No, they're just dishonest. And you have others. You have Huffington Post that puts us in the entertainment section, and now they don't know what to do. Yeah, but I sort of like Bill Maher, I must be honest. I do. Do you like Bill Maher? I don't agree with him, but you can like him. Do you like Bill Maher? Huh? I don't think he likes me too much, I will say. No, but you have all of these different groups, and the most amazing thing is it comes out, and no matter how it comes out with hatred. You see the level of hatred on the other side. And I think, I've made a lot of speeches like this. I always have rooms like this packed. They're packed. And you people didn't have much time, right? You didn't have much time. But last week in Iowa, so I had a negative poll in Iowa. And it was the first time, no way. Because for 100 days, there were even 100 days, I read every single poll. And I was surprised at Iowa, because I have amazing relationship with the evangelicals, with the Tea Party, with all the people. And for some reason, I had a couple of negative polls come out in Iowa. And I was surprised, actually. And then we had a poll come out, a really good one. The ABC Washington Post came out on Friday. And it was a very, very expensive good poll. And practically nobody reported. I was killing everybody, right? And then they had another couple come out. They had the Gravis poll come out. I think it was 38 I was killing everybody. They had all these, and nobody mentions it. And then it happened. I had a CBS poll. I think they talked like to 300-400 people. And I was a little below Carson. It was the biggest story I've ever seen. It happened. It was bigger than anything. It was bigger than Benghazi with Hillary. It was the biggest. It happened. They were so happy. They had gone through between Iowa and so I'm in Iowa. I had just gotten this negative poll. I have a group as big as this, at least, and it's a love fest. It's a total love fest. Now, I'm a negotiator, right? So that's what I do.
You're
the last thing I am is a beggar, okay? So I go to Iowa, and we are having fun. It was the best speech I've made, and in fact, the Des Moines Register that hates me gave my speech a great review. It's unbelievable. Honestly, the Des Moines Register hates me. It's a liberal paper in Iowa. I'm going to start to like it, I think. I couldn't believe it. The story was good. And I had some other good stories. But then I had these dopes from Politico. They're dopes. They're third-rate people. It's losing a lot of money, I hear. It's probably going to be out of business soon. But, they do this stuff. And they don't care. The truth means nothing. And then I had a couple of others. And even one of the networks that I was very disappointed in. So I do this speech, and here's what it is. Thousands of people, I just got a little negative word, and I go to the people and say, come on, folks, let's get with it. You don't want, when was the last time you won a primary? You haven't done it. We got to do it. We're going to do it. Let's get with it, folks, or I'm never coming back to, in other words, we're having fun. I'm being sarcastic. I'm being funny. Everybody was laughing. They're high-fiving. The whole room. Come on, baby. You can support Trump. Let's go. Okay, so here's what happens. No, I don't need it. By the way, no. I don't need it. Watch. One of these scum back there. You have no idea how bad they are. You have no idea. You have no idea how dishonest some of the reporters are. That work for CNN. That work, frankly, for NBC. You have no idea how dishonest some of these people are. Like I saw one the other day. We had a packed house. It's always packed. We had a packed house. And the report's being done as everybody is leaving. And they look. The room's empty. In other words, when we're finished, you guys are going to leave. I don't want to have a reporter doing a report with the empty room. Okay? I don't want it. So anyway, so I'm having fun in Iowa. And I think I'm going to win Iowa, but who knows? Look, who knows, right? Maybe you don't win it. Who knows? But I love the people in Iowa, and I relate to the people, and they relate to me. And I have by far the biggest crowds. So I'm talking about we're having fun, we're laughing, and I'm screaming, you got to get with it. You got to get to Trump. Okay. All, laughter, second, and here's the headline. Trump begs Iowa for that. No, and it's just not me. And I even saw Newt Gingrich. I love Newt. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But I watched him, he was on the Fox show today. He said Trump did great in the debate. Trump's great. Trump's really smart. He actually said he's the smartest guy since Clinton. I said, you couldn't do better than he could. It's a great thing. But he said one thing because he reads the paper. He said the only thing I disagreed with was when he went to Iowa and begged. Can you imagine going to a room and begging? Can you imagine? Now, it wasn't everybody, but there were 15% of the stories like that. And I think it's just so, I mean, most of them were good. I'm telling you, Des Moines Register was a great show. I couldn't believe it. I would have thought they would have done the other. So dishonest. But here's the thing. Places like Politico, they're third rate. And they don't make money. Or they make very little. I hear they're going out. I hear they're not making. I hear they're just dying. You know, they tend to die because they tend to die. And it's not only them, it's others. But the level of dishonesty with the press. So here's the thing, I make the speech. And I actually think, I said last week, I actually think it's one of the best speeches I made. Because I went in, just got a little, my only bad poll in 100 days. So I went in, come on, folks, let's go. Let's get with it. I'll never come back again. If you don't vote for me, you better vote for me. We're all laughing. Trump begs. And they knew that was a phony deal. I mean, everybody knew. All you have to do is look at the tapes. All you have to do is read the stories, even the stories from memory. So you have tremendous dishonesty with the press. And therefore, when I have all these big crowds and everything else, you can't really, like I said to Bill O'Reilly just now, we have a tremendous crowd. I said, nobody gets bigger crowds than me. He goes, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He goes, well, that's not really fair. You're a celebrity, so you'll get better. I said, what does that have to do with celebrity?
You said that?
I don't think you're here because I think you're here because I have a view that we're not going to be taken advantage of. Which is not going to be taken advantage of. You can't take it. You can't take it. And I mean, honestly, if I was a celebrity, if I were a celebrity without a guitar, a friend of mine, one of the biggest entertainers, said, you get the biggest crowds in the world without a guitar. Meaning without music. Because the music guys get a lot of people, but we get a lot of people. But Bill just said, and I was a little disappointed with that statement, because it's not about being a celebrity. I don't think it's about having a view that's captivating the people in this country because they're tired of being taken advantage of. They're tired of being stupid. They're tired of having their leaders be out-negotiating them every single year. They're tired of it. They're tired of having China rip us off on every trade deal, and Japan and Mexico. They're tired think if I were a celebrity, and if I walked and we're talking about, isn't it a wonderful day? Isn't the weather nice? Beautiful out, isn't it? And you know, do you ever hear of like, and I'll tell you, look, I deal with everybody, all over the world. Chinese are very tough negotiators. The Iranians, the Persians, very tough negotiators. Oh, did you hear the new one? So, they say it was our president that requested, because Iran decided now that they're going to get involved with Syria, right? You believe this? And why not? They got our money. And they don't have to develop nuclear. They can buy it. They have so much. What do they have to develop it for? Cheaper to buy it. So, according to what I heard, which is probably true, we got out-negotiated in the Iran deal. And President Obama requested that the chief negotiator for the Iran deal, who's a killer, I watched him on Charlie Rose being interviewed. After watching for 5 minutes, I said, Kerry cannot handle this guy. Can't handle him. The chief negotiator, our president, just asked that he get involved in talks having to do with us and Syria. This is so we're going to have more. We'll end up giving more and more. We're not going to have anything left, folks. We're not going to have anything left. I saw this. I said, can you imagine? You get fleeced by a guy who's a great negotiator. I'm not knocking Iran. You can make a deal like that. I would have doubled up the sanctions, sat back. They would have, believe me. And I would have never given them, of the 150, I would have given them squat. They would have gotten nothing. What they're going to use, you know, they're a terrorist organization. What they're going to use that $150 billion for is, you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to think. The 24 days, how about the self-inspections?
Yeah,
where they
there you go.
do their own self-inspection. They do their own self-inspection. How about that one? Is that one of the...
Absurd.
So we don't get anything. So now we have him, they want him to get involved, and the same guy that did, because you know why? We're comfortable with him. Because we're comfortable with losing. The country has become comfortable with losing. Now last night, that's right, I'm not comfortable with it, I'll tell you. That's why I'm doing this. Last night, I got the only applause. They said, you know, your summation. They give you a big 30 seconds. It's hard to sum up it. But I got a very large applause. Because I said, I negotiated. It was a 3-hour deal, and he said it wasn't. He's wrong. And we have it was always a 3-hour deal. And I said, who the hell wants to watch? Who's going to want to watch? I wasn't even I could stand up for 30 hours and do this stuff. But I said, who is going to want to watch a 3-hour debate? Nobody. You couldn't watch Hillary for an hour and a half. So I called up CNBC. I said, fellas, and I called Ben Carson. And we said, Ben, let's form a little deal here. If they don't have me, they don't have you. I don't think they can, not going to work so well. And by the way, and that's not to knock anybody else, but who needs to form a big deal? If I can do it with two, two is fine. They folded in about 15 seconds. We got rid of an hour. And they were getting $250,000 for a 30-second spot. They used to get like $1,000, $2,000. How much would they have gotten if I wasn't involved? You tell me. So I gave a quick summation. I said, we don't win anymore. And we got to make great trade deals and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, as an example, everybody said you cannot negotiate, it's non-negotiable, the 3 hours. I called up. I got it. So that's a big thing to get. 1 hour, and when you think of those 30-second commercials at that kind of money, 1 hour, that's a tremendous amount of money. And maybe that's why CNBC was so angry. Maybe that's why.
You have never.
Because they were pretty angry. I actually didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I expected it. A lot of the folks up there were very angry and very upset about the way CNBC behaved. But, what do you think? Yes? I've become immune to it. I tell you, honestly, I've seen things that are so bad with the press. I've seen things that I wasn't. I went out, oh, yeah, they were bad. They were really asking questions that were bad, but what else is new? But some of the folks up there thought it was really unfair. And Reince Priebus, who's a good guy, head of RNC, he went wild yesterday because he thought it was very fair. And if you look at the Hillary debate, They were all softballs. Here, Hillary.
Yeah.
All softballs. You know, it wasn't the same thing. So, we're going to have a border. We're going to build a wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. We're not paying. Just like CNBC gave up that hour, a lot of money, Mexico is going to pay. And I love Mexico, by the way. I love the Mexican people. And I love the Hispanics. I have thousands of Hispanics that work for me right now. Thousands. You know, I gave a speech the other day in Miami at Trump National Doral, right smack in the heart of Miami. And I said, this is going to be interesting. We had a big crowd like this, and I gave the speech. It was 80% Hispanic. 80%, maybe more. You have no idea. They put you people to shame in terms of enthusiasm. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They were so in love with the message of the border and the message of the wall because they're here illegally. They don't want to be overrun. They want to work. They want to do their job. These are incredible people. And we're going to let incredible people come into our country. We want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. And, you know, so many things. I mean, and this has nothing to do. Mexico is only one of many. They come from all of Asia. They come from all over. But do you know that if you want to become a citizen of Mexico, it's one of the hardest countries, maybe the hardest country in the whole world to become a citizen. And you know, if you're in Mexico and you're supposed to be there for a week, friends of mine are there. They go to Mexico. I like Mexico. I like Mexico. They go to Mexico. They're there for a week. They get a knock at the door. When are you leaving? No, they just want to know, what's your time? You know, you're here. Are you going to extend? What's going on? By the way, they're doing the right thing. I'm not knocking. I'm saying they're doing the right thing. We don't do that because we're stupid. We're stupid people. We have stupid leaders. We don't do it. I mean, the anchor babies. You have a baby, you go, you're pregnant, you go, you have the baby on our soil. Congratulations, 85 years we're taking care of the person. In Mexico, you know what they said? That's terrible, terrible. The way the United States is handling that situation. Except in Mexico, if it happened, believe me, they don't have anchor babies in Mexico. There's no anchor babies. It's bye-bye. We got to change, or we're not going to be great anymore. We're gonna, you know, I have an expression, and it's been used a lot over the years. You know, "Make America Great Again" is my big expression, but there's another one, and so often I like to use. I love expressions because it says it. The American dream is dead. You know that, right? The American dream is dead, but I'm going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever. Bigger and better. And we're going to. We're going to make the American dream bigger and better and stronger before. We're going to get rid of all these horrible regulations. We're going to open up. We're going to do business. We're going to have fun. We're going to create jobs. We're going to be taking jobs back from all over the world. You know, this whole thing with the dollar. I'll tell you what. The dollar. Oh. China, we owe them $1.5 trillion. Can you believe it? They kill us. They take our jobs, our money, our base. And we owe them money. We owe them $1.5 trillion. Now, how do you figure? So here's what's happening. So we owe them all this money. We owe Japan, with the cars, right? We owe Japan $1.4 trillion. Think of it. So they sell the cars, they do it, and we owe them money. We owe them money. It's a magic act. It's unbelievable. Crazy. And we have negotiators better than any of their negotiators. And I'm going to use them because I have the greatest negotiators. I know them all. I know them all. And I always say, some of them are not nice people. Who cares? Who cares? But we're going to bring this country back and we're going to make it so special. It's special now. We love it. But it's troubled. It's seriously troubled. But we're going to make it so wonderful and so great. And you're going to be so proud. You're going to be so proud of our country. Because like I said, in summing up, we don't have victories anymore. When was the last, think of it. Think of it. When was the last time we had a victory? We lose on trade to everybody. Any country. You know, I use China because that's the ultimate abuser. They abuse. I mean, with them, it's not even funny. They abuse us. And I love them. They're great people. They buy my apartments. I rent office space. They're fine. They're great. I wish our people would do it in reverse. But China, listen to this. Almost $400 billion a year on a trade imbalance. 400 billion. It's been going on for years. It's going to end. It's going to end. And we'll keep doing business, but they've got to treat us fairly. They're not treating us fairly. You know, I'm a free trader. I believe in free trade. But I also believe in being intelligent. And I also believe in smart trade. How can we continue? I'll give you another example. Japan, $70 billion a year in balance. They sell us cars that come off like the Long Island Expressway. Anybody know the Long Island Expressway? Like the boats, the biggest boats you've ever seen, biggest ships, the cars are pouring off. If they had cops, they'd give them speeding tickets. You never saw anything like it. They go like 40 miles an hour off these boats, right into our economy. We get nothing. Other than we close plants all over the place because they're taking our jobs. We get nothing. And you know what? I always say, how many Chevrolets are in the middle of Tokyo right now? I'll bet there isn't one in the whole country. So you look at Japan, it's going to stop. And we have all the power. See, Obama and these people, they don't know that we have the power. We have the power because we can say, sorry, can't do it anymore. Can't do it. We don't want your cars. You know what? You'll buy American for a while. They'll be back. We almost did it 12 or 13 years ago. Do you remember? It was so egregious, but our president at the time chickened out, and he folded, and we lost. He almost did it, but he chickened out. Remember that? 13, 14 years ago with Japan. It's egregious. China's the most egregious. Think about this. Think about a Carl Icahn, or me, or somebody, working on the China deal and making it much better. So instead of $400 billion a year, would you love to break even? I mean, who wants to break even? Would you love it? Do you know what the difference? Do you have any idea? You saw the bad numbers that came out this morning, that we have virtually no growth. First quarter, we had no growth. We had negative growth. Now we're down to a little bit over 1%. You know what 1% is? If China does 7%, they're in like a major recession. All right? We have 1%. We're being led by people that don't get it. And it's so easy. And don't forget, never forget this. We have all the cards. They don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. Right on. We have single-handedly rebuilt China. You look at their roads, you look at their bridges. They built bridges bigger than the George Washington Bridge. It's like candy. They're all over the place. Where are we building? We happen to be building one in New York. Wait till you see what that sucker's going to cost. And they're building one in San Francisco. You know who's building it? The Chinese are building it, right? The Chinese are building the Bay Bridge. It's being built by the Chinese. Big cost overruns. Big, they need Trump. I don't do cost overruns. Big cost overruns. You know what? Tremendous cost overruns. Somebody ought to look at it. I saw the other day. Massive. They're saying it's different, it's a little this, a little bit higher, a little bit this. We painted it a different color. You know, it was supposed to be blue, it's going to be pink. It's going to cost $10 million more for the pink paint. I know all of it. Oh, I hear it all my life. I've been growing up with this stuff. So we're going to do things that are so good. We're going to cut all of the fat, the waste, and the grease. Okay.
I referred to the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Right.
Why can't we get rid of the moderators and just have debates without moderators?
Well, you would think that, you know, I guarantee you, these moderators are not big Republican voters. And I said that if we're having a Republican debate, maybe every moderator should show that they vote Republican. Because why should we have these people that hate everything we stand for? And there, I mean, I won't mention his name, but the questions were so nasty. I mean, so nasty. Okay.
I referred to the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Right.
Why can't we get rid of the moderators and just have debates without moderators?
Well, you would think that, you know, I guarantee you, these moderators are not big Republican voters. And I said that if we're having a Republican debate, maybe every moderator should show that they vote Republican. Because why should we have these people that hate everything we stand for? And there, I mean, the one, I won't mention his name, but the questions were so nasty. I mean, so nasty.
And I have a question about Rumor. Okay, I've been voting as a Democrat for 55 years.
So I think she's gonna. I think we've converted her.
Yes.
Have we converted you?
Yes, and I'm going to.
We've converted her. I love it. People are going to be amazed. A friend of mine from Los Angeles, very liberal guy, Democrat. People are going to be amazed. He said, "You have no idea in LA how many people are going to vote for you that are liberal Democrats. They're tired of having their face shoved into the sidewalk." Yeah, go ahead.
The rumor that I heard is that John Kerry's daughter married a physician in Iran.
Who's related to the negotiator.
And the best man was the negotiator for the Iran deal. Now, what's with that?
I heard that. I don't know if it's true. Hey, could you guys check that out in the press? Let the press check it out. Don't worry. If it's true, they will not report that. They'll report that.